Welcome to another video. I'm very excited to have you here today. Today I'm going to show you that anyone can be an investor. And to prove my point, I'm going to bring you the holdings of one of the biggest hedge funds in the world. And through understanding how the sharpest minds out there on Wall Street are investing, we can democratize the way to invest for everyday people. And I think this video will be an eye opener for many of you, and that the mythical beast of investing and earning money do not have to be as hard as Wall Street might tell you. So sometimes educators out there make it seems like making the correct bets is very, very difficult, and you have to have many years of learning and understanding to make money and to analyze companies, balance sheets, cash flow, understand how options works, etc., how to short the market, how to make money fast, etc. But it doesn't have to be like that. So before we continue, and before I show you what company we are talking about and their holdings, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe if you like this type of content and if you want to support the channel grow. I love to build this community with you long term, and I'm happy that you're tuning in today. Here I'm gonna reveal the secret to you that I have been talking about. So the hedge fund is Bridgewater Associates. It's the hedge fund that Ray Dalio created back in the 70s, one of the most successful hedge funds ever. And here we have the percentage of their portfolio, and this is what they invest in, the ticker symbol here. And going through this, I hope we can find some interesting themes, and hopefully this will help you grow as an investor. So let's start directly and let's not waste time. So the first ticker symbol here, SPI, that means that they are tracking the S&P 500 indexes. So I'm going to show you here the biggest holdings in S&P 500 ETF Trust. The SPY is actually how the fund a tracker works. So Nvidia has the biggest market cap in S&P 500, so that is the biggest holding. And after that, Microsoft has the second biggest market cap. You can see the market cap here. So this is just how big the companies are. So obviously Amazon is the fourth, Meta is the fifth, etc., going down. Broadcom the sixth biggest. And what's interesting with this is that Bridgewater are actually holding as their biggest holdings just an S&P 500 tracker, and that like the most basic stock picking tip you can get from anyone out there, anyone on YouTube, anyone on Wall Street, maybe your father, grandfather. If someone is talking to you and they don't want to mess up, they probably say, "Oh, just track the S&P 500, and you probably will make money in the stock market." So, despite Bridgewater having the sharpest mind in the world, their biggest holdings is first SPY S&P 500, and then they have another tracker, also of S&P 500, another ETF. So that's the two biggest, almost 14% of the portfolio. Um, and you might wonder, well, why do they have two trackers of S&P 500? Why not the same? Well, SPY is a bigger um, tracker, so it's a lot more trading activity, etc. in that, while EVV is a more long-term kind of ETF, so not as much velocity of money going on there. So it can be just having the flexibility and strategic risk management for an hedge fund, so they don't put everything in one tracker. Maybe then they don't want to rely on a specific money manager, etc. So that's how that works. But the most important thing here is, despite being the sharpest in the world, they're actually putting most of their money in an S&P 500 tracker. It's not more complicated than that. And despite me in this channel talking about different companies that I invest in, the most safe way of making money is still investing in indexes. But I think if you invest in, for example, an S&P 500 index, you should at least track the biggest holdings in the index, like I did here, and see if it's companies that you understand and that you trust. So this is like the biggest companies in the world, and of course, in the long term, the biggest companies in the world can change. We know that Xerox was one of the biggest, IBM was one of the biggest, etc. So it do not always has to be that way, but obviously in an index over time, the companies will change. Obviously, the index will change also. So over time, this S&P 500 tracker has performed very good. I can just um, navigate here. If we watch here during 5 years, we have seen a return of uh, almost 100%. And if we add more from 1993 going forward, you can see here, despite going through this IT bubble crash here, the index has increased 1,400%. So obviously, this has been, at least for 30 years, more than 30 years, a very good way of investing. So just if you work and you put away some money over time in an S&P 500 tracker, you will most likely make money. But don't forget, I'm not a money manager or have a certificate. Even though I work with money as a controller, you have to do your own due diligence, follow the rules in your country, etc. I'm just a guy here on YouTube providing the best insights I can, and hopefully that can help you going forward. But don't take this as you have to go and invest. Obviously, you have to do your own due diligence and own up to your own investments. But it's often, if you are going to invest in an index tracker, S&P 500 is one of the most um, safe ones. Obviously, the index in USA has performed very good over time. I guess at some point, maybe USA will not be the country where the stock market just continue to increase forever. And when does that specific year hit? That's like the thing that is hard to know at the moment. Maybe that depends how much of the national debt of the US continue to increase. Maybe at some point another index around the world will perform very good. For example, this year the Japanese index has performed very good. Italy has performed good. Brazil has performed good. So it's not just the indexes in USA that can make you money, obviously. So don't forget that. Anyway, back to the holdings of Bridgewater. The third biggest holding here of Bridgewater is Nvidia. They are having 4.61% of the portfolio. Obviously, Nvidia is a cornerstone in a lot of hedge funds portfolios this year. They are in basically biggest holdings in a lot of ETFs, etc., because they have performed so good, and it has been almost a free lunch at Wall Street investing in Nvidia. But I'm thinking their valuation are getting steeper, and now maybe Nvidia can't continue to increase that much, but it's still a company that a lot of hedge funds and also other money managers rely on a lot. So if money start to flow out of Nvidia, obviously the stock price of the company can take a massive hit. The third biggest holding is another in the MSCI Emerging Market ETF, and I have, I think this is it, and we can see that emerging markets sometimes I don't know when Bridgewater started to get into this emerging market ETF, but maybe this is a cyclical play, and now they feel like, during 5 years now we are kind of at an high, so they might feel like it's time to sell. So you have to time that in terms of they're doing a lot of Bridgewater are known to make a lot of macro perspective analysis when they are investing. Here we continue with a lot of common stocks. We have Google with the Alphabet as the parent here. We all know Google, the biggest search engine in the world. They have the cloud infrastructure, AI Play, Robotaxi Play with the Waymo, solid company. Microsoft, the company I invest in, they have the maybe the most interesting AI cloud out there with Azure Cloud, and they have their Xbox gaming businesses, their Microsoft Office 365 businesses, their Microsoft Teams, Dynamics, that is, and CRM. So a great company overall, and obviously very good earnings and revenue growth. Meta platforms, they have increased their margins with AI capabilities. They are integrating AI in their user data at the moment. So this is a very good long-term play in terms of AI, and they are selling obviously a lot of data. They're taking in data to sell to companies so they can put ads on their platform. And their business models will continue to be very good. They have the WhatsApp, they have Instagram Reels, they have the Facebook, they have Threads. Also, they have the AI glasses, one of the biggest companies out there on innovating in AI glasses space, which is probably a big space. They are quite interesting in terms of VR sets, etc. So they are doing a lot of interesting things at Meta. So I think they are going to continue to be an interesting stock. CRM, the Salesforce, information technology, they are performing, having products that helps companies to improve their businesses, the selling processes. They are improving. Now they're offering on AI agents, quite similar to the company I just invested in, ServiceNow, and also have a little bit of Salesforce in my portfolio. So I also like this company and what they brings to the table at the moment. It's the type of company that makes other companies earn more money, basically. Next one they have is Booking Holdings, just like a booking agent, etc. And after that, this company I don't really have. Vernova, they are like electrification, power, wind, gas, nuclear. Probably like Bridgewater probably feel like in the future the demand for energy will increase, and obviously this might be their play in the energy space. And healthcare, we have the giant Johnson & Johnson. Over time, that stock is often performing good. Uber or Uber Technologies, also a stock that has performed great since ever since the lockdown. This company may benefit from the robotaxi network. We will see. They have gold. Gold has performed very good this year. It's a lot of inflation in the society, a lot of money printing going on to solve issues like funding war, funding welfare, etc. So we will see gold. If gold, I think gold maybe not continue to increase as fast paced as it has, but yeah, companies like and funds like Bridgewater often have some gold. We have some information technology here with Fortinet, that's cybersecurity. We have Broadcom, obviously similar play as Nvidia and AMD, and Broadcom more on the customer solutions in the chip market. And then we have Palo Alto Networks, another cybersecurity company. 1.25% we have in Comcast, and the next place was Fargo Bank, US Bank, 1.15%. And after that, Adobe, a classic company. They are having products like Photoshop very early on in that space. Now I feel like it's kind of tricky to know where the market are going with the AI, with the solutions that OpenAI are like producing on a daily basis. I feel like it's kind of getting harder for Adobe just to be then the one and only play in that space, but they are still earning a lot of money, and I guess you can still make money on the stock. Amazon obviously don't need an introduction. The AWS web services, huge cash flow from that. Also, their e-commerce platform. AMD, I've talked about them on the channel many times. I feel like they are one of the most important companies in the AI space in the future, and they are providing innovations very, very rapidly every year. PayPal, solid company in the transaction space, trying to grow into an e-commerce giant. Obviously, it's a space that is um, kind of having a lot of companies trying to gain market share. The latest one is, I think, OpenAI using ChatGPT and combining that with Stripes to like having e-commerce through the app. So it might not be easy for PayPal to grow a lot, but we will see. They have a very solid cash flow and an interesting CEO that are trying to, I feel like, being innovative going forward. Visa, a classic company that always are growing revenue over time, solid margins, great cash flow, credit cards, banking solutions. Um, Next one is Ultra Group, a lot of dividends. This is a company that, for example, sells cigarettes. Always risky to enter companies that has decreasing stock price over time. You have to know when you enter this type of cyclical place. Sometimes you can make money on it, but I'm not going into that type of companies. I'm just going into companies that I feel like are like having a 15 the correct trajectory going 15 years forward, because I think laws etc. in the tobacco space is kind of tricky, and I'm not an expert there. And lastly, here, Spotify Technology, one of the stocks that has made me the most money the latest years. Obviously, the CEO, Daniel Ek, has quit, but I still think there are competent leadership there. And hopefully, they can continue to innovate at Spotify. They have a lot of customers in emerging markets like Latin America, etc. And over time, people there might get richer and they can increase prices, etc. So if Spotify can be like a 3-4 billion user company, they will like continue to grow forever. But obviously, it's hard to tell where the story will end. But at the moment, I'm just holding my shares. I'm not adding anything. I might need to reevaluate now that Daniel has ended his tenureship at Spotify. We will see. But in the end of the day, what I want to say about this is the type of stocks and holdings here are not very complicated. It's kind of the most common tips stock picker can get out there. Follow the S&P 500 index, pick the biggest companies in the index. Some people are saying, oh, maybe you should go Nvidia, or you should go Microsoft, or maybe you should Johnson & Johnson. Different types of big companies out there. But in the end of the day, if you invest, this is how the sharpest minds out there are investing. And do not overcomplicate it. Maybe you have to time the market a bit. Maybe don't buy all these companies when the market is the hottest. Have some patience before you enter, and make your own due diligence. What company of the biggest ones you like to play, and that you can keep hold on for the long ride. And obviously, I'm a controller. I work with economics, but I'm not a licensed financial advisor. So you have to do your own due diligence and have to take ownership of the choices you do on the stock market. But in the end of the day, I'm very glad that you're tuning in, that we can learn from each other and grow this community long term. Thank you very much, and I see you next time.